I want to learn how to sew, so I've been looking for some easy beginner projects. I don't need a scrunchie, but I could always use a tote bag, so that's what I'm making today. This is messy. First job, I want to cut 2 squares out of the exterior material, the green, and then cut 2 same size squares out of the lining material. Now I just need to cut the handles out of this green material again. They're 10 centimetres wide, 4 inches, but by the time they're folded, they should work out roughly about 1 inch wide. Oh, it's warm already. So alright, I'm going to give these a quick iron, just to get any creases out, because they do look a little bit creased. But I don't have a towel, so I'm just going to use the cotton lining material just as a towel, and hopefully that'll be okay. That's lovely. Just going to clip around the edges with these little clamps. So I'm going to take this over the sewing machine and sew all the way around it, apart from this edge here, this top edge, with a, I think, 1/2 inch seam allowance. It's always worth doing a test piece before you start, because I've just put in some different thread, which I haven't been using. It's worth keeping off cuts of material just for setting the machine up at the start. It's a good job I tested it. It looks like my top stitch is a little bit too slack, so I'll just tweak that. It's got loops in the underside of the material, so that means the top stitch is too slack. Tighten up a touch and give it another go. Just like more tweak, tighten up a little bit more. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That next line, you can see that's the line of stitching I've done after I've adjusted it, and that's looking a lot better than the first line. So yeah, I'm going to go with that one, and I'm going to run it at number 2 for the stitching, so roughly 2 millimeters. Right, so I'm going to sew now. Before I go too far, I'm just going to have a quick look. Yeah, everything's looking good. I'm happy with that. So I'll just keep going. Another corner, needle coming up and almost out, and then press your foot up, rotate 90 degrees, drop it back down, foot back down, and then can't go out again. So just to finish, I've just done a back stitch backwards once I got to the end, then gone forwards again just to finish off the stitching. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same again with the inside of the bag. The lining. The only difference is I'm going to do the same thing, sew down one side, sew down the bottom. When I come back up this side, I'll stop about here and then start again here, leaving 4 or 5 inch gap. That's going to be where I'm going to need access to turn the bag inside out at the end. It'll make sense when I get to that point. Now to make the handles. What I'm going to do is fold it perfectly in half, then iron a crease into the middle, ironing it down flat, and then open it up, fold it in so the outer edge is now against the centre line, crease that I've just put in. So I don't really want to iron this material. And then fold the other side in to match as well, into the centre line, and then fold the 2 pieces on top of each other, like that. And again, just iron them down. So I'm just going to clamp this as well, just so it keeps it nice and perfectly lined up. So I'm going to do the same with the other strap, and then take it over to the sewing machine and sew it up. Now I've got this all folded and clamped, I'm just going to stitch along the edge where the 2 pieces meet. Once I've stitched that edge, I'll do the other edge too to make it match. I'm going to stitch it about 3 millimeters in from the edge. I'm just taking my time, just making sure I'm keeping everything lined up, stitching nicely on the edge. Good. Right, I'll do the other one now. That's both handles now, stitched both sides. So, look pretty good. Happy with that. Maybe stitched a little bit too close to the edge on one of the handles, but that's them done. Now I need to stitch across the bottom corner, cut it off, and then that'll give me flat base to my bag. So what I need to do is open it up, the corner like this, get it sitting flat, find where both edges meet, to put a pin through this seam that I've stitched, see if it comes through in the right place at the other side, just so I get these edges perfectly lined up. So what I want to do is cut roughly 10 centimeters of corner off. Use the ruler to see how much 10 centimeters is, roughly 4 inches. I'm going to mark it with some chalk, and then I can clamp it, sew it, and then I'll chop this corner off. Seams line up nicely as well. So what I'll do is probably just stitch the lining the same. Next I'll be attaching the handles. So what I'm going to do, sit them roughly like that so they're not twisted. And then I want to line these up from the edge so they match. do it about 80 centimeters in from the edge, clamp that edge there that I can get to, and then pin it a little bit further in just so it doesn't move. And then I'll flip it, do the same on the other side, just in case you can't tell. This is the right way around. Right, next job, take it to the sewing machine and so the handle's on across this top edge. Next job is fitting the lining. To do this, I need to have the outside of the bag the right way around, as it will be when it's finished, as you'll see it. And then the lining wants to be inside out. And then the lining over the outside piece, I'm trying to keep it all so the edges match up. What I want to do is get some clamps so I can clamp it all positioned and then over to the sewing machine just to sew across to this top edge and join it all together. So I'm going to stitch this top edge now, 1/4 inch, and then go all around, making sure all these edges are definitely together. And then also make sure you're not stitching the other parts of the bag. Make sure they're not getting caught under where you can't see. Using that hole left in the side of the lining, now it's time to turn the whole bag the right way around. So if you remember the hole that we left in the side, we're going to turn the whole bag the right way around now by pulling the insides out and then turning this round as well, flipping the lining at the same time. Yeah, that's right. My joins are a little bit off, but near enough. First one, I'm just going to turn it fully the right way, put the lining inside it, make sure everything looks okay. And if it does, then I'll stitch up that hole I left in the side. Pretty pleased with that. So yeah, what I'll do is pull this back out and I'm going to stitch this edge here. That's it sealed up. After that, I want to run a stitch across this top edge just to make that nice, add a bit more strength for the straps. So that's the edge and stitched. So now I can just turn it back so the lining is now back inside. And then what I want to do is maybe just roll it. So I've got about maybe 4 or 5 millimeters, the green edge of the bag on the inside. And then what I want to do is iron that and then stitch round every once or maybe twice. You could just leave it at this point, but do you want to put a stitch around that top edge? It doesn't need it, but I like the idea of it. Okay. Back over to the sewing machine. Again, I'm going to do probably 1/4 inch down from the top, stitching it from the inside as well, just because I can see the edges of where I want it to be. Just hopefully the stitch will look okay at the other side. And here is my lovely finished bag. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe.